Okay, we're a bit late in getting this match. I got a message from Tommyue, but I was at my dinner at the time. But we're in the early stages of this match. This is a third round match in this year's 8-ball bar table world championship. Race to 11. Semi-pro is currently 2 racks to 0 up. There's no handicap. And it's a call shot game. So we've missed the first couple of racks. Had a bit of a false start there. My stream, it wasn't picking up the game, but hopefully we've got it up and running now. Well, semi-pro on the solids and is 6 and 4 ball. They're tied up at the side there, although they could be a combo down that rail once that 3 ball goes away. But he's maybe going to try and split them here. And that's a good shot. Now he's only left with a bank. So, decided to play the safety. Now, that's not the best of safeties because Tommy can see this 10 ball, he can pot it. But you would feel he has to do something considerable here to run this rack out. Let's see if that 12 ball squeezes in it. Well, that goes in. There's plenty of room for it to go into the middle pocket. And now he's got to make a decision. That 11 ball I don't think will bank. The 4 ball I think might be slightly in the way to play a bank. So he's going to have to try and move it. And that's unlucky. And now he needs to get wise here and try and get a decent safety, try and get some cover. Now if he plays to the right hand corner, semi-pro can just play a combo. Well, he's tried to cut it. Well, now he's got a dilemma. He can now just go thin off that 11 ball and run the cue ball up to here and try and cover that combo. And he can do that if he gets the pace right. Just a gentle touch in the 11, make sure it blocks the path from the 3 ball to that 4 ball. Oh, he's trying to play a billiard off the 3. That was a great attempt, but no joy. And his chance might have gone. Well, it's all very well in hindsight. Maybe it would have been better to play the safety, but went all out to try and run it there and then. But it looks all too easy, this rack. Now for semi-pro. So it's going to be 3-0. And it's alternate break, I believe, if I remember right, from yesterday's match. Now, I think that was a 2-ball that's gone, so that's a solid has gone down. Now the table remains open, just a reminder, until the player that potted the ball in the break makes his next choice. So he's chosen solids, and these solids, they look pretty good. The 4-ball, plenty of room in there in that corner. The 4-ball is pink in this set of balls, and it goes into that corner as well. Well, he's nudged into it, and I think he's got no shot on. Well, that's a bit of a dilemma, because there's no pocket for that 4-ball as far as I can see. Are you trying to cut it in the middle? Win off the 7, good shot. Just checking the stream. Bloody web camera's not working again. I need to make an adjustment on that. I rushed to get this started, so I didn't get the time to check everything was working, hence the false start. But it's now 4-0 to semi-pro. We've lost the 7-ball. Tommyue's break. And the solids, again, they look very good here. The only problem ball, if there's a slight problem, is a 2, but it's going to go in off that 12-ball. Across here, it's going to go in there. There's plenty of room. And he's going to have to... Well, he should have taken the 1. I mean, that was an impossible cut on that too. Not the wisest of choices there. Semi-pro, from what I've seen of him in Virtual Pool 4, predominantly plays on the British pub table. Plays some of the pub variants that we have in Virtual Pool 4, so he's well used to the small table. Well, that's now taking the 1-ball away. The only problem is that's tied up the 11. We try to just nudge something there to free that up. And now he's out of line. He's got the 12-ball. Ball's the pink stripe, and just blocked the pocket. So that now is covered. Now, again, another reminder: a player can use their own ball to pot one of their opponent's blocking balls. It isn't a foul, but all they would do is concede their visit at the table. Now that's exactly what Tommyue's done there, and that's actually a good shot. Now what semi-pro needs to do is make sure he doesn't move that 11 ball, because if he does, he's going to open it up for Tommyue. So he's now conceded possession of the table back to Tommyue, and the 1 ball is still locked with the 11. And now, well, that's a good shot, because he's now covered the 12, the 13 ball. That 13 ball, well, I don't even think he could actually have made an angle there with spin to try and split the 11, but of course he's blocked off with the 4, so it's a good shot by Tommy. And now it's semi-pro there. That was a dangerous shot. Almost opened up the 1 ball. And again, Tommy needs to make sure he covers that 13, because any sniff that semi-pro can get on that 13 to split this 11 and 1, he'll do it. Good evening. Welcome aboard. Yeah, Tommyue sent me a message, but I wasn't here. I was at my dinner, and then when I came back, the match had started, and then when I tried to start streaming, I didn't have the game, so I had to restart again, so everything was in a rush. So Tommyue's waiting on his chance to get to that 1 ball. We've got a bit of a stalemate here at the moment until somebody makes a mistake, and that is the mistake. Tommyue has an easy one. He's just got to get the roll on this cue ball right. It's going to hit the jaw, and now the pressure's on, because he's got to make the pot in the 4. And he just needs to hit this plain ball. The cue ball will come back down the table towards us. Well, he's okay. Got it into the middle. So this is Tommyue's first rack on the board. And that's where you have to... In that rack there, Tommy took his time. Just had to wait on somebody making a mistake. And luckily for Tommy, it was semi-pro that made the error. So it's back to semi-pro to break in rack number 6. And something that you don't see an awful lot in this table is dry break. We saw a couple of them in the other match yesterday, but it is unusual for it to end up dry, especially with the rack of 15 balls. So Tommyue has comboed and is now chosen the stripes. And I've got a message here from Simanx. What does he want to know? That was just too heavy, because it's not blocked to pocket, I don't think. Well, maybe it has it? I don't think the one will go clean past that 9. It's tight on it. Good evening, Bedhead. Yeah, that's what I was saying. He's used to the small table. The only thing he's not used to is the different rules in this game. I mean, I don't think he actually plays this game at all. So he's going to learn as he goes. But yes, I think he's got a fair chance. But, you know, as this tournament goes on, it's going to end up probably a bit of a lottery. Because the good guys at this game, and the good guys, when I say the good guys, the guys who can actually pot a ball and move the cue ball, it will end up a bit of a lottery, because once they start meeting up, they're going to be tight matches, or they could be run out matches. There could be big margins of victory. It's really a guess as to what will happen. You've got to find your touch of the speed of this table as well, and work your way around the clutter and solve problems and use your head. You've got to be thinking of your feet all the time, more especially with the amount of balls on the table. So Semi-Pro has cleared the pocket. Now this is a desperate shot here by Tommy. So now Semi-Pro has an open table, and well, he should run out. Wasn't really many options available there to Tommy. Well, it looks as if it's going to be a long 8 down to this bottom right hand corner pocket, unless Semi-Pro takes the 2 ball first, which I think he's decided to do. He's in 2 minds what to do here. Well, there's the mistake, and the only thing there is that the 8 ball is blocked by the 2. Now Tommy has to think of a way to get that cue ball up to the top end of the table if he can, or he's going to have to leave a bank. Now how does that look for an angle? Well, that's not much good. Even if he tries to draw back from there, he needs a good bit of left hand English, and he needs to get lucky. And has he got lucky? Well, I think he has. That's worked out pretty damn good there. Well, that will give Tommy a bit of encouragement. He's only trailing by 2. And now he might want to get his teeth into this game now. So the break, that's another dry break. First thing you do once the break is done is look at the table, pick out all the balls, and make your choice as to what's going to be the best option to get yourself out. Tommyue's now in the solids, and there's 3 of them on the left hand side. The 1 ball goes into the middle, the 2 and the 5 are tied up, but if you get on the 1 ball in such a way, you can split them out. Now, once again, the mistake has been made, and this table is looking good for the solids. Now, Tommyue just needs to take his time. I keep stressing this about players taking their time, because there's no shot clock. You can take all the time you want just to think about what you're doing and get it clear in your mind exactly where you want to try and get that cue ball. And these are vital opportunities for Tommyue, and he has to take them. 8 balls wide open. Everything's just waiting there to be knocked into a hole. I think the angle's good in the 6 to drop over behind the 4. That's fine. This looks all too easy now unless he makes a complete hash of it. Just a gentle roll in the 7. You don't want to let the cue ball run. You don't want to risk scratching. So, Tommyue, I think, is beginning to find his feet, because Semi-Pro raced away to a 4-0 lead, and now there's only one in it. Oh, look at that 8 ball. 8 ball hanging right over the corner pocket. And this is immediately what you should be thinking is don't do something where you're going to start balls running around the table, because the chances are you're going to end up unlucky and you're going to roll a ball onto that 8 ball. So you don't start smacking at things in this situation. The Semi-Pro has an open table from the break, and a couple of balls have gone, so now he has to make his choice, and the choice won't really matter what he takes unless he can get the split, which he can right now. He's on the 14 ball and he can split the 11. He can get it moving and he'll still be on a ball. He should be on that 12 ball over on the left hand side, the pink one. I think that's the 12, isn't it? Yes, it is. But I said this yesterday as well, when you've got the chance to get a problem ball out the way, you're best to deal with it. The other problem ball's the 10 ball. Now he's maybe in two minds about what one to try and get rid of first. So he's nudged into the 10. That's a good shot. Now he can deal with the 11 if he wants. Maybe he's a bit straight. Looking at that, he looks a bit straight. Maybe try and steal a little bit of angle here, just to get a little nudge. He'd be unlucky not to finish on the 12. Well, he's still on the 11, so that's the problems all dealt with. Now he can just concentrate on finishing the rack off. The Semi-Pro is a player who is using his head. He's doing what most virtual pool players don't do, and they don't look at the situation and really think about what they're actually doing. And there were two problems that needed dealing with there, and Semi-Pro dealt with them. And that is just the difference between his level of play and probably a lot of other players in the tournament. So most of the higher rated and long-term Virtual Pool 4 players who are in this tournament, they know what they're doing as well, and it's up to the lower rated players to up their game, because if they don't, they're going to find themselves in problems that they just don't deal with, and then it backfires on them in the end. Well, this is just a little bit of an angle, but problem dealt with. And maybe with a bit of relief, Semi-Pro is going to get that little gap again. It goes to 2. He leads by 5 racks to 3. Remember, it's a race to 11, and this is a third round match. Good evening, Simon. Well, Tommy went for the 7. We've still got an open table. Now, in all honesty, I think Semi-Pro is looking to take a solid here, because all of those balls lined in that little crescent up there, apart from one. Oh no, they're all the same. They're all stripes. So, you know, they're all lined up, but they're not blocking the 7 from either that side or from down the rail. Now this is looking good for a run out here. 8 balls wide open. So the 4 ball is the awkward one. Needs to get rid of that one. And just in the middle of the table. Well, now that now means that he has to make a move on that 7 ball off this 6. And the angle that he's got in the 6 is a bit high. He needs to play this gentle, or he needs to maybe actually nudge into something and hope he gets lucky and stays on the 7. And well, he can cheat it in easily past the 9, no problem. He can get to it clean. But this could go wrong here if he starts hitting balls. But it's worked out fine. He needs to get some action in the cue ball, or he'll leave the long cut. So the run out is going to semi-pro, and all of a sudden the gap has shot up to 3 racks. Now I think there's another match. Let me have a quick look at the bracket. Let's have a look. Yeah, there's a match just starting. It's starting in 2 minutes between, well, it's supposed to be between Marv 1096 and Acero. Now, Marv 1096, I've never seen the guy. I'm wondering whether he's somebody that got excited and signed up and then he'll not turn up. So I don't know whether he's in the lobby. Let's have a look. Right. Oh, there he is there. Is it Marvin? Maybe that's him. And Acero's there as well, so both players should be in the room in a minute or two. Meanwhile, back to this match. Semi-pro on the solids. And once again, we're looking at a run out here. The only sort of partial problem ball's a 1 ball, but it should be easy enough to take care of that right now. And then a little brush through off the 13. I'll leave him on the 7. Now this has to be played right, and this is where it can go wrong. I'll get my bloody donut to work. There we go. He's got a couple of gaps. Obviously up this end it's a lot easier to get on the 8. And he's found the gap easily enough. And it's going to be 7-3. Again, I think there's a couple of balls have gone. Oh, cue ball. Well, that's a disaster.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Well, that's about all you can say. Semi-pro comes to the table. And well, everything's there for the taking, provided he can manoeuvre it. Well, these are the only 2 remaining balls before the 8 ball. And he's got to get this right. A little tricky 4 ball just to get on the 2. Maybe he's going to try and run into it. Yes, he is. And he's got to play a shot here to get on that 8 ball. It's not a great angle to try and draw to the rail and punch it across, but we'll see if he can. That's what he's done. But that was always the problem. The problem was how close he was to the rail and the judging the pace in that shot. It was the right shot to get it across for the 8, but he's just gone too far. And now there's a glimmer of light here for Tommy. Oh, good evening. I must have about 3 people watching the stream now. Excellent. So Semi-Pro gets the kick on the 8, and here's the invitation for Tommyue to run out. Now, straight away, he should be looking and already have it in his mind how he's going to plan his route out. Now, now's the chance to deal with those 2 balls at the top end of the table. Well, he's taking a 13. I mean, it should be easy enough, in all honesty, to run this table, but I would want to get rid of those 2 first, because those 2 are furthest away from the 8 ball. I mean, this has got to just be a little trickle, and he needs to make sure he gets good on the 14. Still no alarm bells yet. Well, the simplest shot is just a little run through, leave the 8 ball long into the bottom corner. Don't try and do any tricks with the cue ball. Keep it simple. Well, he's stunned off the rail, got a straight in 8 ball, and reduces the deficit. Well, that's a good name, Antiseptic Eye. Anyway, we're back to 7-4 to Semi-Pro. And the break is dry. Cue ball's dead and buried in the corner pocket. This isn't a nice table at all. Too much clutter on the right hand side. A lot of nudging about to be done to get balls into the open. So what you do in this situation is you take what you can get and then you run for cover. You need a good safety. But there's not an awful lot of safety spots on a table this size. So Tommy's made his choice. He's going for the stripes. He's got a chance here off this 15 ball to run into something. Well, the angle he's got there, it might be too much. He's looking at the 14. You see, that's letting the cue ball run. Again, not a lot of control on that. You're relying on luck when you play shots like that and you let it run too much. He's on the 15 now. He can come off the end rail, the top end of the table as we look, and come up and run into those to try and move the 11. He's got an angle. Oh, that's unlucky. Very unlucky. Managed to find a gap. But he's still got a stripe to go. Now there's one that you've just rushed. Need to slow it down. But Semi-Pro's going to have the same problem to deal with these 2 balls over on the side rail. And let's see how he does it. Well, he thinks he can cut the 5, and I think he can as well. Now, we could have an issue here, but the 2 ball does go, but only obviously from this side. Well, he's too straight in the 1, I think, unless he tries to squeeze an angle, which he has done. And he can cut the 2 right now. The 2 goes. Well, good evening to Popman. I take it there's nobody in Friday night 9 ball then. So in goes the 2. Well, that 11 ball has brushed past the 6. And there's no problem when you look at the 6 from this end of the table. The semi-pros calling the bank on the 7. And now he has a problem. He can go all around the houses here, but can he avoid any traffic? Well, he's going to play the bank combo. This will be a good shot. Called the 6 ball. Now, what's happened here? Well, the 11 doesn't go. And Tommy can certainly... He can certainly hide the cue ball if he wants. But I think he can pot the 12 here. If he gets right, he can pot the 12 and nudge the 11. Well, this is a crucial shot in the rack. And again, well, he's decided not to bother. Now, straight away there, I think that's a mistake. You've got to cut that 12 and split the 11 and ride your luck. If you're trailing 7-4, you have to make a move. And he might not get another chance to do that. He should have went for the split there. Because he might find himself tied in knots here in a second or two. And he's backed into a corner to the extent that there's not a lot he can do with the cue ball. And now he's going to find himself stuck behind the 6. And control of the table will have gone to semi-pro. Well, there's a mistake there. He's given a window of opportunity here for Tommy. I must admit, I didn't think he'd do that. But can Tommy get up the table for this 11? Well, the higher up that goes, the better chance he has of cutting this 11 ball. How does that look? Well, you've got to hit this firm and hard enough that it's going to make the pace to get to the pocket. You're again relying on luck to get on the 8. Oh, well, that's maybe his chance done and gone. Remember what I said earlier. When you've got a problem ball or problem balls, you're best to deal with them as soon as you can. Now, Tommy had a chance on that, was it the 12 ball, and that would have, the cue ball would have hit the 11, it would have moved it at least, and it would have given him a chance to at least run out. Okay, it might have not worked out, but we're never going to know that. But now he's on the receiving end, on a rack that he possibly could have won when he had the chance to win it and go for the win. And it's now 8-4. So the break goes back to Tommyue. The break is dry, and again the problem with this size of table and 15 balls on the table is the amount of clutter that you very often get, it makes it difficult to run out. Yeah, when are you going to be playing? It'll need to be from like 3 p.m. in the afternoon onwards, because I'll still be at work. If you're still there. Aye, now if it's going to be evening, it better not be like 9:30 at night, because again, I'll get some of it, but then I have to go to bed. Oh, are they playing as well at the moment? Oh shit, I would have liked to go to that match as well. A quick look at the bracket. Where are they in the bracket? Oh. What is this? Is this the 8-ball tournament we're talking about? Or are we talking about Friday night 9-ball? Because I don't see them in the bracket. Oh, it's 1-1 in the Marv Acero match. Ah, Friday 9-ball. Shit, I thought it was the 8-ball tourney we were talking about. Cobra's getting the 5-ball. Or is he giving away 5 and out? That's more likely what he'd be doing. I can't believe he's given... No, Bedhead and Cobra are... I mean, Bedhead's like, what, 2,700 rating or something. So Cobra's getting a 5-ball. I'll tell you something, Bedhead's got no chance of winning that match unless he runs every rack remaining. He's absolutely no chance. Cobra's going to get to a 5-ball any day of the week. That's the thing about Virtual Pool 4 ratings. See, when you get 2 players, and this is what Steve needs to fix, when you get 2 players that are over 2,300, if their rating's over 2,300, then they shouldn't be given handicaps to anybody when they're at that level. It should be scratch every day of the week. It's ridiculous that you'll get 2 players that are 2 of the best players in the game, and yet one of them's getting a 5-ball. It's just a joke. That's where the ratings goes the other way. No, I mean, players that are over... There's guys here that are 2,000 rated players, and all they do is play in challenge rooms. Your rating goes up and down like a yo-yo in that. And most of them have got false ratings in that respect. When they jump up and down for like 1,900 to 2,000 all the time, then again... you know, if they were getting a 5-ball against any of those 2 guys that had played tonight, they'd probably be lucky to get a couple of racks. Right, back to this match. It's still 8-4 to semi-pro. Semi-pro on the solids. And Tommy's trying to block him off there. The 7-ball and 8-ball's tied up, so there's nothing doing here. And semi-pro is taking the aggressive shot. He's trying to get the bank onto the 8 there. Missed that. That would have been a missed call had the 5-ball gone in. But that now has changed the whole dynamic of this rack. 5-ball blocked in the pocket. Tommyue has got no shot. And now we've got a problem. Now, see in this 8-ball US, can you have a what do you call it? a stalemate option, because look at this, you've got the 5 ball hanging over the pocket and the 8 ball blocking it. You can't get to the 5 ball. The only thing that that semi-pro can do is to try and nudge the 7, and he's got the chance now. He's just going to have to get lucky. Play possibly a 4 ball combo here. 10 ball goes into the rail, it's going to hit the 8 ball and probably nudge the 5 in. 10 ball to there, hit the 8 ball, hit the 5, and it goes in. Well, that was the plan. And now, well, Tommyue has got something that isn't a good bank on this 13 ball. You know what? I wouldn't be touching that 13 ball right now. I'd be just nudging up to the 10. You know why? Because if he opens this up, all he's going to do is end up hitting the 10 and potting the 5, and he's going to leave the table open for semi-pro just to pot the 7. The only thing Tommy can do here is block the pocket with his 10 ball, so he's better just feathering it. So now he's in a strong position for the time being. Now, can semi-pro... Oh, that was clever. Well, see if that 13 ball had come out another half an inch. That would have been perfect. It's still blocked by the 8 ball. Now this is ball in hand in the kitchen, isn't it? Or is it ball in hand all... Oh, it's ball in hand in the table, right. So, well, that worked out right for Tommy in the end. Managed to pinch another one back. And Tommy's getting a wee bit more of a respectable scoreline here. And you never know what can happen in this game on this table. Well, that's a scratch in the break.
Oh dear, outside, never mind.
So, Tommyue, well, these balls are perfect. I mean, even I could probably run this table. Look at them. Every single one is wide open. And Tommy's nominating the solids. But once again, he's taking the 1 ball first. He has to be the aggressor here and take care of these 3 balls here. Now, if he does open that pocket with a 7, he's then forced himself into getting a clean run out. So he's got to make that decision right now. Does he want to keep the 7 there as a safety net? And you want to try and get the rest and leave the 7 as his last ball before the 8? Because that 12 ball could be a problem if he has to run down the table here. And now he's immediately got a problem. Now he can easily squeeze that in off that 14 ball. That pocket's like a bucket. In fact, didn't even need that. Plenty of room. So here is where it can all go wrong. Getting onto this 7. And that angle he's got there, he's got to hit something surely before he gets up this end of the table. That needs to keep going. Miss the 9. And that's excellent. That's a little bit of good fortune you need. Managed to avoid the traffic. And now he can go up the inside of the rail here. But he's going to leave a cut back. Or he can come back out. So he's back out. And that's a good run out for Tommyue. Now that shows you what happens. Semi-pros made the scratch and the break. The balls are open perfect. But if you can't take your chance with that invitation, then you've got no chance. But Tommyue has held himself together, did the business, and it's back to just 2. It's 8-6 to semi-pro. And you never know, semi-pro might get a bit twitchy. And this time, Tommyue's break has given him 3 balls in the break. And straight away, a look at the table and see how things lie. Well, he's decided he's going for the stripes. And you've got the 9 and the 10, which would be an easy enough combo to make, even though it's not lined up well. That takes care of the problem. And this is looking good here. He's got to get good on this 14. Now, well, he's got a choice, but the angle on the 14's not good to take it in the middle. He would need to take the 15 first, surely. Now, as you look to see how many balls he's got left in this table here, what's he doing? Oh, Jesus Christ.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
Oh, well, if you're going to cock it up, you might as well cock it up big. And I think Tommy's getting a bit nervy. Tommy's blinked before semi-pro has, and that's his gilt-edged chance gone. It would have been very interesting had he got back to 8-7. But there's still balls to be potted here. Well, there is a chance, albeit a slim one, but he's got an angle now. Can he avoid the scratch on this 14? I think that's an odds-on scratch if he cuts it, surely. Yeah, odds on. I mean, a blind man could see that one coming.
Man's got to know his limitations.
So, semi-pro, the gap he's got now is going to be 3 racks, and the racks are running out for Tommyue. I think 3 balls at least have gone in this time. No, 4 have gone. Well, Tommy's talking about lag in his game, so what he probably needs to do is give his PC a good clean out. Give it a good defrag as well. Make sure everything's running sweet. So semi-pro on the solids. And difficult to see where he's going to make a mistake here. So it's going to be the 1 ball the 7 across into the right middle, and a little roll through just to make the cutting angle nice on this 8. So, semi-pro now on the hill, just needing one more rack to take him through to the 4th round. And it's Tommyue's break in rack number 17. Now, as soon as this one's finished, I think we'll take a look into that other match that started at 8 o'clock. Right, let's have a quick look and see what's happening in it. Marvin, what's that? 16 whatever, or 1096 or something. Well, that's going along quite nicely. It's 3-2 to Marvin at the moment. We could have a match on there as well. I've never seen this Marvin guy unless it's somebody under a different name. So, that I wouldn't think there'd be much of a handicap in that match between Larry and Cobra. They're probably, Larry's round about the 2,400 odd in his 9-ball tournament rating. So there can't be much in it. It might be a scratch match, that I would think. So Tommy on the solids, and this is a nice little run out. Bear in mind that he potted half the balls in the break, I think. Oh, no.
Oh dear, outside, never mind.
Well, I spoke too soon. Commentator's curse. Because it's got to be all over. Ah, I thought it'd be scratch. Yeah. So semi-pro, finishing off here. And remember as well, it's double elimination, so Tommyue will move over to the 1 loss side. He'll get a second chance. The only problem with moving over to the 1 loss side is he's going to bump into some pretty damn good players over that side as well. So semi-pro wins the match by 11 racks to 6. Now let's have a quick look at the bracket and just see where things update to. So that match will update in a second, and then we'll see where Tommy moves to. Right, so it's updated. Tommy should be up at the top of the 1 loss side, I would think. There he is sitting there, so he's got a long while to wait before he sees anybody. Right, so now we will nip down and have a look at this match here. So we've got Marvin. Let's see where the hell this guy's from. Marvin 96 from the UK and acero. Let's have a look. Go on, stay up for Christ's sake so I can get to your profile. Let's have a look and see who this is in disguise. Active since the 9th of the 1st, 2016. Oh, he's won an 8-ball world tournament. And he was also in the Scottish doubles as well. Is this somebody in a different name, I wonder? Let's see how far back we can go. Oh, he's Marvin all the way through there. 9, 10. Yeah, well, he's Marvin. Right, let's have a look at that result that's come through, and we'll get the bracket back up if we can get this damn thing to work. And we'll just update that. Right, now we can concentrate in this match and see what's happening. So Marvin is an 1848 rated player, acero 2100. Now, is this a round 2 match? I forgot to check. I think it's a round 2. Yep. Right, that's enough of that for a while. It usually only takes 2 or 3 shots to get a general idea of what kind of level of skill a player has. Well, Marvin's missed the cut in the 15. Pockets blocked, and there's plenty of work to get done for either player in this rack. So acero on the solids, you can pot his 5 or pot the 7 onto that 15. Now how does the 4 ball look? Well, the 4 ball goes if you can get onto it from like here. You can certainly probably make the cutting angle on it. It's a bit tight. It might, it's touch and go whether you can actually make that potting angle. How does it look from that side? Well, it doesn't go into the opposite middle, so there's work to be done there. I was looking at, I think I typed in Google monitor lamp yesterday afternoon when I was messing about, and I found this monitor lamp that actually sits on top of a flat screen monitor, and it sits almost the width of your monitor depending on the size of your monitor. And it's angled, and you can angle it down the way. It's actually for obviously reading and working in front of your PC to light up. but it would actually be good for streaming as well, because all I've got is a poxy wee cheap LED light that'll get into the USB, and it doesn't give great illumination. And this light would sit on top of the monitor, and it looks down, so you can angle it so it shines more in your face to give you better lighting. Well, and it works off the USB as well, and it's got automatic settings for, you can press a button to adjust the brightness of the light and all of that stuff. The only problem is it's like $100, which is about 80 odd pound or something. I think it's is it BenQ or BenQ? They make monitors and all that shit. So they make this monitor lamp. It doesn't shine on your monitor. It doesn't block out the screen. It doesn't shine on the screen, but it shines down the way so that if you're working in front of your PC, you've got good light where you're writing or doing whatever you're doing in front of the PC. And I was thinking about using something like that. And the other thing I was thinking, I've still been looking at, is getting something of a green screen rather than this tri-def smart cam thing that I use, which, I mean, if you start moving about, if I go out a shot, my head, bits of my head go missing, I go missing altogether like I have there because I've been moving about. And I think that's partially because the lighting isn't good enough. The only problem I've got is where my PC sits. I've got absolutely no room to manoeuvre at all. Plus I've got my other old PC sitting next to it, so... And my old PC's got my second monitor sitting on it. No, that's better glasses I need. Anyway, the match is now all square. We're back to 4 racks all. So we've got a game on here. Marvin at the table, open table. And, well, I don't like the look of any of these. Trying to squeeze the 4 ball in off that pink 12. I almost got it. Table still open though. Yeah, the only criticism I've got about, I mean, I see guys on, when you Google XSplit and OBS, I see guys raving about OBS. I've got OBS, I've used it, and I don't find a great deal of difference between it and XSplit. And I don't think one's better than the other, but a lot of guys rave about OBS. I think the main reason they rave about OBS, Open Broadcaster, is the fact that it's entirely free. Whereas with XSplit Broadcaster, you can get the free version, but then again you've got bloody watermarks and stuff on it or whatever, and you're limited by what you can do. I don't think you can do full HD streaming. I mean, I've tried a fair few of the streaming software, and XSplit Broadcaster and Gamecaster, I've got both of them, and they're paid versions. I've got lifetime versions of them. The good thing I like about them is the fact that whenever they do updates, you get the update. I got that Game Show last year, and Game Show again is another broadcasting software, but the problem with that is that the robbing bastards, they give you a year when you first buy it, and you'll get updates during that term. And then once your year expires, they want you to pay another $30 to pay for another year so you can get updates. They're robbing bastards. I mean, there's making money, and then there's just ripping people off. It's like bloody antivirus and all of that shit. Where they, you know, yeah, this will give you a year and then you got to get another year. No wonder they make money out of people. So, Game Show is about to get deleted off my PC and it can get the hell out of there. I didn't like it all that much either, as a matter of fact. It's got lots of features on it and it's far too complicated. An XSplit broadcaster, once you get your head round it, I mean, it's fairly straightforward if you actually look at what you're doing, and if you go on and use a lot of the help stuff on YouTube. And I finally got, it took me a while to get my transitions to work. This sort of stuff. Now, what's the other one? Let me try that one. I mean, once you get your transitions working, you can put in whatever you want. You know, so the only thing the one gripe I've got about Broadcaster, XSplit Broadcaster, it does have a whiteboard feature which you can add into it, and it allows you to draw on the screen. Now the only problem is I don't think it allows you to. If it allows you to draw on it, in fact, I'll correct myself there. It does allow you to draw on screen. The only problem is that if I was to try that, the screen would go blank because the focus on Virtual Pool 4 would go as soon as I move my mouse over to my second monitor. So that's not convenient, especially when I'm doing Virtual Pool 4 streaming, because I like to use Gamecaster for that specifically, so I can use the annotation thing in the screen, and that allows me to, you know, draw angles of pots and positional shots, which I like doing. And I can't do that with Broadcaster. If they would only put the annotation function from XSplit Gamecaster into Broadcaster, I'd be a happy bunny. I'd have everything I want. So, for the time being, we're still at 4-all, but Marvin has a shot in the 10, just to leave a straight in 8 ball to go back into the lead. Well, this might go all the way. And another dry break. Well, again, there's clutter, there's balls tied up, so there's movement to be done. Looks like the solids. $14 disappears, but it's still an open table because those 2 balls went in. Marvin still hasn't confirmed his choice yet till he pots his next ball. Now, yeah, the position he's got in the 2 there might be his best chance to actually pot that to. Of course, he opens up the pocket, but sometimes you've just got to take that opportunity when you get it. And if we look up the top of the table, we can see that the 5 and the 14 are tied together. So that's Marvin's safety net. Well, he's done his best there to split them, but it's still not really made a great improvement, I don't think. We'll look at the 5. Well, it is. He can cut that 5 in from here. And I think, well, how big a gap's that? He's not going to pot that clean. He'd need to play a great shot to do that, but he might be able to just cheat it in behind the 13. Well, that's an excellent shot. Called the kick bank, or the bank kick, whatever you want to call it, or just call it a kick. But now he's running out of balls, and the one ball is not in a great place. What does that do to the situation? Well, that hasn't improved things there, and he can't see the one. Well, it opens the pocket, and well, can he see the 10? That might actually be a pretty good shot. That's a good shot in the end. I mean, he can't pot the 13. He could pot the 10. He just needs a little tiny bit of spin. He's trying to play the combo into the 10. Now the thing is there, he didn't call that shot. The presumption is he played the combo, but there's a lot of these players in yesterday's match as well. The guys weren't calling, a lot of them, the time they weren't calling banks and combos, and somebody's going to fall out with somebody when one of these balls goes in. And then then the other player starts quoting the rules. Now, did I miss that there? Was that called? Anybody that's still watching? I didn't see anything coming up on the screen there to say he was calling that. Somebody wants to remind these guys exactly what should be happening here. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to get involved. But the other player's as much to blame if he doesn't say anything. I mean, I think a lot of these guys, you know, I'm assuming that Marvin knows the rules. I'm assuming Acero knows the rules. Well, I don't know. Anyway, Acero on the stripes, and he's now in a strong position. He just needs to take them out. And just completing the formalities. A fairly straight in 8 ball. So we're back all square. We're into the 11th rack. The break goes back to Marvin. And a couple of balls, 3 balls have gone in. And one of them was the 8 ball. And it's taken an awful long time on my screen for that 8 ball to come back up. If there's anybody still watching, can you let me know if the stream is running okay for you, because I can't watch the way I've got it set up now. I can just watch what my live output is through XSplit Broadcaster. I can't see what is going out on my channel. Let me know if the stream's running okay for you, because I'm running in 1080. It seems to have gone very quiet. Probably everybody's buggered off to watch the 9-ball. Oh, I've always looked great. That's just it's in the genes. I'll tell you the other thing that bugs me as well. There's a bug in the Logitech webcam, which basically the way my setup is does not help the webcam. The webcam's got lots of automatic settings on it for focus and stuff, and the problem is a lot of people complain about this webcam. This is, you know, a high-end webcam that I've got. I mean, at the time there's a newer version out, but the biggest complaint that people have about it is the fact is the out of sync stuff. And so when I'm streaming, my lips are moving, but other words are coming out my mouth half the time, and that's a known problem with this webcam. And there are ways to try and fix it, and that's taking off all the automatic settings on it and setting it manually, which I did do. I watched a guy on YouTube who talks you through how he corrected his problem. Now the advantage for him is he's got a proper lighted setup, whereas I don't. And if I put the automatic functions off, you won't see me in the webcam at all. It just simply won't work with the SmartCam software that I'm using to put the Virtual Pool 4 background behind me. So I'm well aware of that problem. And unless I can get a green screen background and better lighting, it will always be the same. So short of actually moving my internet connection and everything through to the other room and doing a complete move, that would probably be the only way to solve it. So for the meantime, that's the way the webcam's going to be. So we're still at 5-all in rack number 11. Acero at the table on the solids and looking to pick his way through this mishmash of balls in the middle of the table, but all his balls are there. The one that could be a slight problem is the 7. It's going to take a reasonable shot to get on that 7 good. And he might be able to do it now off this 5 if he just cuts it gentle. He could actually pot the 7. Well, he'll have to either pot the 3 or the 7. Well, he can't see the 3. He can get the 6. And he could actually take the 7 right now, and he's bound to be on another ball. He's going to come around the corner. He's got to be on a ball. If he goes forward with maybe a bit of right to come up the right-hand side of the table. Needs to watch the scratch in the middle pocket, though. He looks as if he's playing it with a bit of, well, he's just top. And see, he rode his luck there, because he was always going to run into that 12, and that's worked out fine. And, well, it's worked out fine from the respect that he's on one of his other balls, but he's going to have to play a good shot in the 8. And he can do that if he takes the 3-ball last, which he's going to end up doing. And he can take the 8 into the right middle. So Acero is going to go back into the lead, and it's just going backward and forward this match. Yeah, that's good to hear. Right, so 6-5 to Acero. And I think another 2 balls have gone in. And the third one's gone in. And it's the wrong one.
Oh dear, how sad, never mind.
So the scratch and the break, and Marvin has his choice. Now, what would I take? If you look at the solids, yep, the solids are good. I like his choice. Now that 3 ball, let's have a look at that. He needs to be careful because that's not going to squeeze past the 13. He's probably better taking the 7 and getting rid of the 7 and the 4. Now, there is that 3 ball is going to be the stumbling block, to be honest with you. Now, how does that look? Can he squeeze that? I think he can squeeze it past when you look at it from this distance. Oh, there's plenty of room there. My eyes are so bloody bad. Well, anywhere on the left-hand side of the table without scratching, and he's in line to tie the match up. Well, that's not what he wanted. That needed a bit of left English to avoid any collision there. The only risk he would have took with the left English was scratching in that left middle pocket. So now he's having to call this 6 ball. Did he call the bank in the 6 ball? Well, it's going to be tight past that 12. If that's what he's called. Yeah, that was very unlikely. And that was just not enough English on that ball to avoid the traffic. And Acero has his chance. And he can probably nudge into the 10 ball here as well. He's going to be on a ball, surely. But the 10 ball is fairly tight to that rail. He's deciding in 11 first, so... Now, the only thing I don't like about that 10 ball being still in the rail there is the fact that if he leaves it to his last shot, he's going to have to get good on the 10 ball to make sure he can get good on the 8. And if you leave yourself too high an angle, that's you just putting yourself in trouble. So he's getting the 10 ball now. Well, at least he should do it now. The 8 ball comfortably goes past the 4. And if he just tucks the 13 down the rail, with a little bit of draw, he can come out into the table for the 14 and he would have an angle to draw off the 14 and come up here for the 8, just past the 6 ball. But he looks to be keen on taking this 14 first. He's probably going to go with that side of the 13. No, he's came the north side. The only thing that's going to go wrong here is he's going to hook himself behind the 6. That's the only thing that can go wrong, or he can go too far south of the 8 ball, in which case is no man's land. He's played it perfect. Well, this is the right time to open up the gap. We're past the halfway mark, and Acero has opened the gap to 2 racks now, leading by 7 racks to 5. And the break goes back to Marvin. And a scratch on the break. And Acero choosing the stripes. And he doesn't need to touch the 8 ball, he doesn't need to move it. He just needs to get to the 10 ball. Now that ball there's the one he should be taking, the 12 ball. Because once again, with that pocket been blocked, you might not get another good opportunity to get on this 12. You need to get rid of that one sooner rather than later. That's the one he should be going for. If he plays it right, he's got to be on the 9 at worst. That's the one I'd be taking. I'd be getting that out of the way because you're limited in what pockets you can play that ball in, and if the cue ball's sitting there and you have the chance to get rid of it, then you get rid of it. He's going to run into the 2. If he plays it gentle enough, he's got to be on the 9. He seems to want to keep going back to this 10 ball. And finally, he's listened to the commentator. So now he's got the choice. Can take the 15 ball. Again, the 15 ball's the furthest up the table. He should be getting rid of that and taking care of that sooner rather than later as well. And he's got a good angle to get onto the 10 ball off the 15 right now. It needs an accurate shot to get on the 10 ball. Well, it really doesn't change the situation. The 8 ball's now in the open, but it needs a nice little tuck down the rail in the 10. He's got a nice angle, and he should be home and dry. So it looks as if Acero's coming on strong in the latter part of the match, because he's now going to have a 3-rack lead. Yeah, I don't know whether you guys, any of you guys, if you are still watching, were in the lobby yesterday. Another scratch in the break, this time from Acero. I typed in the lobby that it would be good if a spectator in a room could use the replay function, because I would like to use the replay function while I'm streaming. And Steve eventually read my thing that I typed in the chat, and he responded by saying it would cause too much interference for people that are watching plus the players. Well, when he said that, I had it in my mind that I was pretty sure you could do that in Shooter's Pool. So without leaving Virtual Pool 4, I started up Shooter's Pool, went into the lobby. There was a game on. There was 2 guys playing, I think it was snooker, and or whatever it was, it doesn't matter. But I went into the room as a spectator. I was watching them, and one of the guys played a shot, and as soon as he played the shot, I just hit the replay button, and the replay comes up on your screen, and you watch the replay. Nobody else sees it. The 2 guys are still playing the game. It doesn't interfere with them, but you can watch the replay. And I had asked in the lobby how complicated would it be to add that function to Virtual Pool 4, and I got my answer. Steve told me, he said it'd be trouble. He probably didn't understand what I was meaning, so I clarified it with him, and I typed some more, and then I told him, well, I basically told him, well, if Shooter's Pool's got it, why the hell's VP4 not got it? No. That's what he thought. That's right, Bedhead. That's what he thought. He didn't understand me properly. But as I say, if you go into Shooter's Pool, you can sit and watch replays all night in somebody's room that they're playing in, and they're none the wiser. They don't know you're watching a replay. They're just playing their game. So obviously, the guys at Shooter's Pool are a step ahead of where Steve is as far as the coding goes, because it probably would take weeks of coding for Steve to put that into Virtual Pool 4, and it is a good thing for anybody who's watching a game to actually watch a replay, because the daft thing is saying to the 2 guys playing in a tournament match, could you replay that shot for us? There's nothing more annoying. But that's another feature that Shooter's Pool has that Virtual Pool 4 doesn't have. Now, did a ball fall through the table there? Did you guys hear that, or did the ball go off the table? Ah, the cue ball must have went off the table. Anyway, enough ranting and raving. It's now 9-5 to acero. He has a 4-rack lead. And Marvin has scratched, or rather not scratched, but I think hit the cue ball off the table. And acero, well, when the ball goes off the table, it's ball in hand behind the head string, I believe. That's why he's not anywhere else in the table. So he's going for the solids. Now, I'm going to have to just take my headset off for a second. I need a drink. I need to get my bottle of water. I'll be back in a sec. I'm back. I've given Steve plenty of things to think about for Virtual Pool 4 over the years. I mean, he's well behind Shooter's Pool. I mean, Shooter's Pool are ahead of him in the fact that if you want to create your own league, you can create your own league. If you want to create your own tournament, you can create your own tournament. I mean, I did a Friday night 9-ball in Shooter's Pool 2 or 3 months ago. I think I set it for 8 players. It was full. They all signed up. I set the tournament entry fee, which I can't remember. I think I might have set it for 100 virtual coins, or virtual dollars as we call it. And I added £200 of my funds into the pot so that the guys would have something to win at the end of the night. And I did that, and that was simple enough to do. We don't have that functionality in Virtual Pool 4 because at the end of the day, there wasn't anything else to compare Virtual Pool 4 with and what their setup was like, really, because all the other games are shit anyway. Bloody Poolians and all of that crap. But Shooter's Pool, whatever faults it might have, in the functionality side of things for the players, it's got some good features. And there's no harm in stealing features off another game, because that's been done hundreds of times over the years. But to do that in Virtual Pool 4 would be far too complicated, it'd be far too much coding, and it'd be more or less changing his whole setup. You've got to ask yourself the question as well. I mean, I have to say this, leagues are still going through the testing phase in Shooter's Pool from what I understand. And in all honesty, I don't think there'll be a great deal of interest in it, which is why, because there's not a great deal of interest in the ladders in Virtual Pool 4, the ladders are all there, but nobody plays them. There's about 3 people play ladder matches. I notice Bill plays ladder matches with River City on a regular basis, but they're the only 2 that are playing 9-ball ladder matches. I don't see many other players playing them. There's the occasional cowboy ladder match, but the rest of them are dead. And I think Steve's going on that basis. What's the point in putting a lot of work into doing leagues and getting them up and running when nobody's interested in ladders? And I would have to say I would agree with him in that respect. He's given himself a lot of work to do if he was going to do that, but he's not going to get any return on it because nobody can be asked to join the league. I mean, if anybody wanted a league in Virtual Pool 4, I could do a league within half an hour. And I would just use an external website. Any of you guys could do it. You could set up a wee league. You could play home and away matches. You can get 3 points for a win. And then, you know, that's it. It's a bit like the old VIP ladder that we had in Virtual Pool 3. And plenty of people played that. You know why they played it? Because it didn't cost them jack shit. It cost them nothing. And you get nothing for being at the top of the ladder. All you had was somebody, you know, everybody chasing you down to try and beat you. And it had a lot of players interested in it back in the day, so it did. But there's very little interest in participation. Anyway, after all of that gabbing, Acero's made a run of, what, like 6 racks, I think, more or less, and he's won the match by 11 racks to 5. I wish I'd paid more attention. Once I start in a rant, that's me away. Right, anyway, guys, I'll have a quick look at the bracket. Just to double check and see there's nothing else scheduled, but it looks like we're all done for the night. I'm going to get to my bed earlier, but at least we've saw one match. Now let's have a check at the bracket and see how that updated. Right, Acero is now waiting to play the winner of Hazard and Danny, and the winner of that match is going to go through to play semi-pro. So let's have a look at, now where's that match that just, oh, that's that one, right. And let's see where the loser goes to. So Tommyue's at the top of the bracket, and where the hell's Marvin going to? Am I just blind? Oh, there he is. There he is. So Marvin now plays Howie Wowie, who lost to Bedhead yesterday. That should be a close match. That'd be worth seeing. What's it? A race to 9 in the one loss side. Right, guys, we're going to call it a night. And thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and we'll be back again soon. So we will bid you farewell.